The 6th of August, 1941. Two men sit in adjacent prison cells in Wandsworth Prison. The two men, Karl Druck and Werner Walti, had been part of a three-person team deployed to the north of Scotland. They are now going to be executed. September 1940. A car drives through the streets of Hamburg. In it are three men and one woman. The woman's name was Vera Eriksson, a Russian-born Danish ballerina dancer turned amateur spy for both Britain's MI5 and Germany's Foreign Security Service. She'd recently fled London and had arrived in Germany. The driver of the car was Captain Hans Dirks, Vera's latest lover and senior German intelligence officer. The other two men we have discussed already, Karl Druck and Werner Walti. These men had been recruited by raking through prisoner camps and picking out the best. Druck had already met Eriksson in pre-war Paris, and the two had previously been lovers, so as you can imagine, the situation was quite awkward. They had been out drinking ahead of their new mission, to go to the north of Scotland, land near a train station, and catch a train south. Then suddenly, Dirks had crashed the car, leaving him dead and the others injured. Eriksson was now the leader of the group as they made their way up to Norway, before catching a seaplane to the Moray Firth. On the 30th of September 1940, a seaplane landed in the Moray Firth and dropped the three spies off. After 4 restless hours of rowing, they eventually arrived about here, the Burn of Gullicky, and they went their separate ways. Druck and Eriksson went to Port Gordon that way, and Walti went over to Buckpool that way. Little did they know that just a couple of days before, Operation Sea Lion was cancelled. Their mission was pointless. Walti soon caught his train, but Druck and Eriksson were waiting a little longer at Port Gordon station. It was then that Porter John Geddes went over to talk to the two, who looked like an ordinary couple. "Lovely morning," he said. "Yes, it is," said Eriksson in perfect English. She had lived in London for several years, after all. But then Druck gave it away. Geddes' grandson later said, "Druck said 'ah' in such a guttural way that my grandfather knew straight away that something was amiss." The porter raised the alarm and kept them talking until the police could arrive, unaware that Druck's luggage contained a knife and a pistol. Around 35 minutes later, the local constable, Robert Grieve, got out of his bed and arrived at the scene. He noticed them eating a German sausage, writing in continental style, and that there were no immigration stamps on their ID cards, so the two were arrested. Word reached Greaves that another foreign-looking man had caught a train to Edinburgh from Buckpool. This was Walti. This information was sent down to Edinburgh and Detective Superintendent Willie Merrilees took charge. They discovered Walti's bag in lost luggage at Edinburgh Waverley Station, so Merrilees and some other men disguised themselves as workers and arrested him. And so, we come back to Wandsworth Prison on the 6th of August, 1941. Walti and Druck were executed at 8 a.m. that day. Eriksson was sent to a camp on the Isle of Man to spy on fellow inmates before being deported back to Germany at the end of the war and dying of tuberculosis not long after. Eriksson was the only female German spy caught on British soil during the war. Druck and Walti didn't even have legal counselling at their trials. I don't know how to end this video, so I'll just say, good night.